Hi guys, I'm Zoe from Zoe's Fancy Cakes, and today I'm going to show you how to make a winter hat cake. I'm going to do a reindeer one, and then we're going to do a little version that is a polar bear one as well. Now, my friend Rob from Mr. Baker's Cakes has got some amazing woolly hat cake tutorials, so his are probably a little bit more in depth than mine as well, and I just love them so much that I really wanted to have a go at doing them, but with a bit of a twist, so putting my own little designs on them. So I've got a cake board that's already decorated so that I don't have to ice it or do anything with this one. And I've already baked my cake, and I actually did it in one of these tins. I think they're called a tiffin tin. I usually use them for dolls' skirts, but it's this kind of shape. I'll put links below the video to everything that I've used as well, guys, including the board and the tin. So I've cut it into layers, and I'm just putting a little bit of a buttercream filling between each layer. So I don't want to go too thick between the layers, otherwise it might ooze out when I'm decorating it later. And then I'm going to put a layer all over the outer edge, and I'm going to try and smooth it off the best I can, just removing any from the board as well. I've put that in the fridge just to firm up, and while that's in the fridge I'm just going to mix a colour fondant that I do want. So I've got some of this chocolate brown, which actually is chocolate flavoured, so it does taste quite nice, this one, and I'm mixing it with the latte coloured fondant as well. So to give me a medium brown. Now I'm actually going to use an extruder for this, so to create the knitted pattern we're going to use an extruder, and the end that I've put in it is almost like 3 circles joined together. Now you can get texture mats that do this for you, but I thought it would be good to use the extruder. And can you see if I just twist it, it gives me that kind of rope-like effect straight away. And this is going to make my knitted pieces, or knitted pattern. Now you just need to make sure that when you put them together, it looks like they're going in one direction, then the other, then the other. So you have to twist it in a different direction with each piece. So twist one way, the next the other. So I've got a couple of those ready. I don't want to make too many because I don't want them to set too hard. And then I'm going to get my cake out the fridge, and we're going to give it a second coat of buttercream, and we're going to smooth it off with a flexible smoother. Again, I'll put links below the video to the smoothers that I'm using. And then I'm going to start by adding my pieces of fondant that look like knitting. So we're going to go from the bottom up to the top. Try and push them together the best you can as you get to the top. And you're probably going to have to do quite a bit of extruding for this, guys, so we're going to make more. It took me longer than I was expecting. And I've marked the cake slightly where I want each of these to go. Now I don't know if you can really see it, but we'll put some more lines in here. So we'll be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these, but there's 4 on each kind of segment, if that makes sense. So everywhere that I've put a line, we're going to put 4 of these sort of knitted pieces. If you squish them out by accident, you can put the lines back in just with your knife, like so. Mine aren't quite evenly spaced, but almost, close enough. Now for the in-between bits, we're going to go for a smaller knitted texture, so I'm actually going to use a texture mat for this one. It's just going to speed things up a little bit for me. I haven't worried on this bit about mixing the 2 colours of brown fondant together very well, so a bit marbled is absolutely fine for this. And we're going to insert it in there. So it's kind of like a triangle-like shape that we've cut, and we're going to put it into that gap. Now you can get bigger texture mats as well for wool. This is the one that I've got, so I thought it works all right for this one. So I'm just going to fill in all these spaces. If it doesn't quite come to the bottom of your cake, you can just patch it in with an extra piece. But also we're going to have sort of the edge of the hat looking like it's rolled over, so don't worry, we're going to cover the very bottom bits shortly anyway. So I've rolled a strip of fondant now that's going to go around the bottom edge to the height that I want it to come up to. So mine's maybe about 1.5 inches. Just prop this up so you guys can see. I've cut it into small segments because we're going to have this, and then we're going to have some of the knitted pieces, which are the twisted pieces of fondant that have come out of the extruder as well. I've cut them a little bit longer than I need to, so we can cut them down. We'll stick them 4 in a row. Let's just cut them off carefully there. Let's stick our next piece on. Now I'm just sticking these using a little bit of water, but you can use edible glue as well. And we're just going to keep doing this all the way around. And I feel like at this stage the hat looks a bit boring and a bit bland, being in the brown colour. It's only really when we add the reindeer's nose and antlers they start looking a bit nicer in this colour. So all the way around with this. Once you have gone all the way around, which you can see I got a little bit bored and decided I really wanted to put the nose on, but once you've done that, you can add your nose. So we've got a ball of red fondant that we're just squishing down. I've got the Rentro's Extra for the nose. Again, I'll link below, but you can use whichever fondant you want. So squish it on, make sure it's stuck pretty firmly, and then we're going to put some lines through it again so it looks a little bit more like it's either sewn on or knitted, just to give it a bit of texture. Now you can just use your texture mat again if you want, and then let's finish off going around those edges. So to create our antlers, we're going to use that chocolate brown fondant. So before I'd mixed it with any other colour, it was actually this dark brown. We're going to put the texture mat onto it, and then we're going to cut a little strip and sort of roll it up. So I'm going to do that again. So we're going to put the two pieces together. We'll cut them and put a little cocktail stick in just to make sure that they stick into the hat itself. And then we're going to take a piece of white, or you can use like ivory, little teardrop, squish it down. We're going to put some lines in to make it look hairy. And we're going to stick it onto the brown colour that we used for the hat. Now I've textured it with my little knitting mat. And then we're going to put a twist of the brown around the outer edge. And try and squeeze it together a little bit in that pointy part of the ear. So it looks like it's folded over, and then we can squeeze that onto the hat. So you can stick that on with edible glue or water. And then we can push the antlers just above that. So I'm leaving the cocktail stick into the antlers just to hold it in place. Just make sure you do remove those when serving the cake. It's up to you if you want to give it eyes or not. I'm going to give it some little closed eyes. I've got some small sausage shapes of black. We're going to curve them and stick them on for the eyes. Again, just put a few lines on there. So I've done the same on another one now, guys. It's exactly the same, but I've done it in white, and I thought we'd have a little look at what it looks like if we do it as a polar bear. So we've got an oval of white for sort of the muzzle area, and then another oval, but this time in black, a bit smaller, that we're sticking on top of the oval for the nose. You can texture it with your impression mat, or you can draw the lines in by hand, or you can leave it without any texture if you prefer. So the little eyes, and again, let's do these eyelashes so they're kind of flicked out at the outer edge. For the ears, I thought pom-poms would look quite nice. So we've got some Rice Krispie treats rolled into a ball for each one. Now these were just the Kellogg's Rice Krispie treats. It's one little bar cut in half. We've rolled it into 2 balls, and then I've covered it with a thin layer of fondant. Now I'm just holding them on with cocktail sticks again, guys. I've actually put a small ball of fondant under each of the larger balls, just so they're not too close to the head. Otherwise it's going to be difficult for me to add sort of the fluffy bits of the pom-poms. So I'm going to roll out some white fondant, a few millimeters thick, maybe 2 or 3 millimeters thick, depending how bulky you want these bits to be. And we're going to cut them out with a daisy shaped cutter. Now the bigger the cutter, the bigger the pom-poms are going to become, because the bits are going to stick out more. So you can get smaller or larger daisy cutters. I think mine might be the largest one in a small set of cutters. I'll put links below to which I've used. But you're going to stick these daisies now onto the balls, or the ears, using a bit of water or edible glue. Just press them in the middle with a balling tool, nice and firmly, and scrunch them up. And you're going to do that till the ears are fully covered in the little pom-poms. So there we have it, it's 2 done, a reindeer and a polar bear. I'd love to see what you guys create. I was considering doing a penguin. Should I have done a penguin? Let me know in the comments below what other animals you think would look good made into woolly hats. I think these ones are great for Christmas. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out all my other Christmas YouTube tutorials. Bye! If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment below. You can see more of my tutorials by clicking on the images on screen now. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button to stay up to date with my future tutorials. There are also links in the description box below where you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and more.